Good morning, my trippy hippies. Good morning. It is Tammy coming to you live today from my office here in Farmville, Virginia. It is Sunday morning. It is Sunday sermon, and it's time to say hello, tell us where you're watching from, and drop us a grateful fed in the comments. I know I'm a little later going live this morning, but there has been a little rain outside, and I may have been moving a little slow this morning. That's just how things work. So as you jump on here, do and be like Heather Johns today. Tell us hello and watch where you're watching from, and then do us that secondary favor and drop us a grateful fed in the comments today. Look at Heather down there with that sexy hat on with those beautiful flowers behind her. Gonna leave Heather up there because I just like to see her face today. So hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Sermon. If you are brand new here, we welcome you. We hope that you will stay around and see what we have to talk about today. You may think that I get lost in the sauce, but we usually come back around and it all kind of makes sense by the end. So do me a favor and stick around this morning. Give us a tryout. Oh, something on my screen there. I am live in a couple of places today. I'm live on the Facebook. The Facebook places. I am live on the business page for Hometown Hippie, as well as the Facebook VIP page, as well as the TAMunity over on YouTube. We miss everybody so much. I'm only seeing comments from Heather right now, and there's 4 people watching. So as you jump on here, please do me this favor. Say hello. Tell us where you're watching from and drop us a grateful fed in the comments. Like I said, be like Heather. Good morning from Toledo, Ohio, and a grateful fed in the morning. So make sure that you jump up here. You say hello. You tell us where you're watching from, all the good things. Tag a friend, give us some likes. It helps the live kind of find where it needs to go. So I don't know how many people are here that are watching that are local to us, but I want to take a second. We sent out some love and good vibes this week to all of our compatriots who are going to be heading over to this big rock festival at the VIR, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. And I saw online that it was kind of a shit show, and that they closed it down because of weather and a bunch of other extra circumstances that have caused it not to go as smoothly as possible. And a lot of our family members were over there in it. I have heard from Leslie. I have not heard from Selena yet. Her phone got destroyed. If anybody has heard or seen from Selena or her people, please let me know. I'm kind of worried. I have not heard from them. Yay, it's Sunday sermon. Yes, ma'am, it is. Thank you so much for saying hello. Grateful Fed in Farmville. I love that. Make sure y'all are jumping in here, doing all the things below, because this is way more fun with friends. And I really appreciate the feedback. Plus, the comments help other people find the live. I've not heard from Selena. Even though Mel is no longer with our organization anymore, she decided to take a step away from that. I still called and messaged today. Have not heard back from them. I'm guessing they're probably, if they were over there in that mess, they may still be asleep when I messaged this morning, but I'm hoping that I hear back from everybody. Leslie did tell me that she said, I messaged her. She said she was fine. They got home and she said, you do know Selena's phone got destroyed, right? And I completely forgotten Selena's phone got damaged. So I've not heard back from her. I'm hoping that she can get on the internet anyhow, maybe her iPad or some other type of technology. She can see her messages, that kind of thing. I'm hoping to hear back from her this morning. Good morning, Facebook users. Not letting me see who is there. It just says Facebook user. So I hope that we can get permission to see your name. So there's about 8 of you on here, and only 2 of you have said hello. So make sure that you are doing what I asked below in the comments. Say hello. Tell us where you're watching from. Drop us a grateful fed in the comments. So for everybody, whether you're part of the team here as far as the staff or part of the family, the Grateful Fed family, hi, Lisa Phillips. Good morning, Lisa Phillips. If you could, oh my gosh, my brain didn't want to work right there. I'm sorry. If you could just hold space and you can make sure if you were over there, if you can check in on the page, like somebody could make a post like, hey, where are the Grateful Fed members who were at the Blue Ridge? Are y'all okay? Just check in. Because I felt like we needed to hold space for that from the beginning. Like I was really nervous about that. Um, Good morning. We packed up. Is this Selena? I don't know if it is. I hope so. Or Mel or somebody. I'm hoping that it's somebody that we know. If it's not, if it's somebody else, I love y'all and I want you to be safe too. We packed up and headed home last night. Got home safe about 10. I'm really glad that you got home. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm very super excited that you got home. Um, because I have been stressing and worrying over all of our people over there. It's Britt and Mel. Okay, yeah. Okay, good, good, good. So y'all are good and safe. I'm very glad. I messaged this morning. Yes, okay, perfect. I'm glad everybody's safe and home. I was just worried from the jump about this festival. Like last week when everybody left to go over there, as a group, we stopped and we sent love and healing vibes. And it's like, whatever happens, make sure our people stay safe, make sure our people stay protected, that, you know, nothing major happens, that there's food, there's water, there's facilities, all of that stuff. So I'm glad that everybody is home safe and everything is what it is. I know that it sucks. You spend an entire year planning something like that, and the shit blows up and it sucks. And I'm very sorry that that happened to everybody. I know that it's kind of like a cult following, like people who used to follow the Grateful Dead, like that's what they did. People that go to Blue Ridge, they really like spend the entire year like watching to see what bands are coming. And they, yeah, even all the way up in Ohio, because people travel from all over the world, right? We heard it was bad. I've heard a ton of different rumors. I don't feed into that. Somebody said that like Slipknot had to cater for the bands because the promoter didn't feed anybody, that the entire event crew just left and said we're not getting fed, none of these things are happening, we're just walking out. There's going to be a million and one rumors, but here's the deal. A lot of people paid a lot of money and looked forward to this. So what we need to do as a community, or a community, whatever the hell you want to call it, we need to just send some love and light out, that it all gets sorted out and that everybody gets compensated in the correct way. Because my title of the live today is living in an old world with a new soul, right? Because the world, y'all, is evolving. And right now, all the negativity and the hate and the discontent and all of that, that is an old way of thinking. That is a fear-based way of living our lives. And I am saying that, and you know, it's interesting because the reason that this came up is this morning I was doing my business, sitting like reading all the things on Facebook versus a shampoo bottle. We all know what that means, right? TMI, right? It was bad because they canceled it for no reason. The hailstorm, though, okay. So what I was told, just this is Mel and Brent, this thing that was on the internet from Slipknot, was that they said that they canceled it for weather, so that the people did not know that the entire event staff, that they, number one, had not fed anybody. They didn't get any kind of staff catering. They had no sleep and no food, and that the entire staff walked out on Saturday after Slipknot fed them. That was the thing that was on the internet this morning that I saw, was that Slipknot had to get catering for the bands because they hadn't thought about feeding the bands, and that the promoter had not fed his team, and that they had to walk out and they could not refill the staff positions, and they were forced to close down for safety reasons. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I read. So the bands were not going to play. They had no band services to like feed them and stuff. So, and they told the promoter that you're the most greedy and unorganized, whatever is what that's one of the rumors that I've heard. So there will be a million more rumors. There'll be a million more stories. There'll be a billion more things. But the sermon this morning came from me sitting there, and there was a video of Oliver Anthony with Slipknot and Papa Roach, and they did a little like acoustic deal on a stage right before everything had to go out. And one of the lines in the Oliver Anthony song, and it was, everybody was singing along and all the things, and it was living in the new world with an old soul. I can't sing, you know, I just did that, right? Living in the new world with an old soul. But how many of us we need to reframe that? So I was like, you need to reframe that, sir. Because a lot of us feel like, and I'm one of those people, and tell me hallelujah, amen, if you can agree with this, right? That you feel like you're living in the old world of fear and negativity and hate and programming, and has to be this way and it has to be that way, and this is how everything has to be, and you have to do it the way that they tell you to do it. That's the old world. And we're living in that old world, so many of us, with our new souls, right? With our new awakened and our new eyes wide open kind of, we don't believe it anymore, right? And so when he sings about rich men north of Richmond, I agree with that. Like they want to have total control, but that's because we're living in an old world with new souls. We're no longer trying to be controlled and told, and we're understanding that everything comes from two places, like fear or love, and we're choosing to operate from love. But so much of the old world is still operating from a place of hate and disdain. And when you are in that hate and disdain place, everything falls apart. Trying to spread the message of a new world that is so possible, right? But he's like, living in the new world with an old soul. And he is saying that the new world, like, I think that the framing and the way that we perspective, right? Um, Evolution is required. And this is my little take on this, and I might like get canceled for this today. I said it's going to be a little bit of a truth bomb, but I'm here in the private community, and so here's how I say about everything, right? Not everybody believes the same way, and I tell people all the time, two things can be true. This can be my truth. This is nothing more than my truth and my opinion, and some of you may agree with it, some of you may not, and that's okay, because the world needs difference of opinion. Not everything is from my perspective. Not everything is from your perspective. There's somewhere in the middle that's kind of the truth. It's like, if you're standing around in a crowd and you're talking to people, right? Everybody standing in that circle is going to have their perspective, and they can have all six people are standing there and we're having a conversation. All six of us turn around, walk away, and go tell our best friend what happened in that conversation. And then our six best friends come back together, and they would all six have different opinions of how that first conversation went, because they're hearing it from someone else's perspective, and then they're putting their own bias on it, and they're bringing it back and telling it again, right? Can we agree to that? The truth is really the person who's hovering above, that fly on the wall that gets to see it from just what it was. And so many times, this is my opinion, right? It's not that I'm right. It's not that I'm wrong. It's not that you're right. It's not that you're wrong. This is just my 2 cents today, right? This is my soapbox, my platform. So please just go with me on this one, right? In this day and age, people argue over what's left and what's right, knowing that there's scientific proof that this is the left and this is the right. But in the mirror, right, it's opposite. But we will argue over day and night, up and down, black and white, red and blue, right? We will argue over anything. The world will argue over anything. But here is what I'm going to tell you. Things have to change or they die. If things don't evolve, if things don't change, if things don't progress, then they die, right? If you have a plant in your house, does it just stay like a puppy, a plant, a baby? Nothing just stays what it was when you got it. Everything grows, right? You grow it, you give it life, it breathes, it does the things. Like pets get bigger, plants get bigger, have to be repotted and put in a new pot. It doesn't mean that anything was wrong with the old pot. It just meant that old pot no longer serves this plant, because it's getting bigger, it's growing, it's expanding. The pot can't hold it any longer. And as things change, things change. But so many people feel that gripping on to this old way of being, this old way of believing, right? They find this nostalgia in things that no longer serve. I'm gonna throw something out there. Education. The public education system is one of those things, in my opinion, right? It's one of those things, in my opinion, um, is that you have to evolve in your institutions and the way that you do things when the world changes. And so many times we try to make everybody sit in their desk facing forward, right? Sit at their desk face forward, and like the teacher when I was in school would have a big long hang on, let me see if I can find something as a little visual aid here. Yes, I have it. I have it. Okay. So how many of you went to school where you had a big old bulletin board, or you had like a chalkboard or something, or a board, a bulletin board, just long ruler, and you go A, B, and you would read along, and she would point to things, and you would tell them what it was, right? Now, we had chalkboards with erasers you had to bang out. Now, when I went back, that was when I was in school. When I went back to teach school, and like after I had graduated from college, right? We had whiteboards. Now they have power boards that are like TVs, and it's all done through PowerPoint. And they have the aids. Does that mean that chalkboards are the way we have to go back to chalkboards? Right? That's the real broad level explanation of what the point I'm trying to make. But are y'all tracking? Can I get some comments in here? Right? Do you know where I'm going with this? We're hallelujah, amen. We're following that kind of thing. Let me know that y'all are on the page with me, right? So when you say you're living in the new world with an old soul, right? That's the line in the song, and I'm not disputing that. I get the idea of it, right? I get the idea of his type of music, all of that, right? Right? I'm going to show this real quick. Norma Jean says, Amen. Spiritual awakenings are really tough for new souls when the outside world is still with gripping onto the past, right? That's why I say it's living in the old world with a new soul is way harder than living in the new world with an old soul. Is what that's just it's just the way my brain was working this morning when I saw that. And I feel like God, the universe, throws these messages on me. And I was like, last night, I was really, I'm going to show you, I got some new stuff, because now I'm living in the new world with an old soul as far as how I would prefer a chalkboard personally, because I had to go back and get a paper planner because I like to have it where I'm losing a lot of stuff on a digital camera. I am forward means change, and our old world is stuck. So what I'm getting at, right, is that sometimes there are changes that are meant for the better, and our inability to embrace evolution and embrace change. Now, that does not mean, right? I'm not saying, and I don't want anybody to believe this, it is not saying that you have to go with what's going on in the world. I'm not saying that, right? What I am saying, though, is that the reason that there's so much anger and fear and animosity and all of these things in this new world, right? In this new world that we're moving into. And it's because people are gripping on to those things that no longer serve them. They are holding on to an old way that is no longer serving. And the ability to embrace change, and I am not saying that all change is for the good, but your inability to understand or to evolve, right, with the fact that things are going to change. And here's what I'm going to tell you: the world has changed rapidly. Rapidly, the world is changing, and it's going to continue to change rapidly. And I'm not saying that you go along to get along. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, when you come into when you're trying to go into the new world with a new soul, right? We're trying to lift the world up in love. We're trying to raise the vibration from this hate and anger and animosity and all of these things. Stop allowing the media. Stop allowing people. This is the thing this is why we have to let go of that, because we are being controlled by that hate. Our puppet strings are being done by the anger, right? Can anybody agree with that? It's because you have been told that if you vote this way, you are this kind of person. And you have been told that if you vote this way, you are that kind of person. And you have been told that these are the people that you should not like, that are different from you, that are going to. Here's what I'm going to ask you. And this is just, I'm not trying to get into politics today, right? But if you base your political and what you do for this country, I'm just going to say this, and I may get canceled in Farmville, and I get nervous when I talk about this, but it's been laid on my heart today, and it's coming out. If you see someone doing something that is unpleasing to you, maybe they are transgender, maybe they are of a different race, maybe they're a different sexual preference, maybe they don't work, or they don't have the same color hair as you, or the earrings, and like, I just don't understand. I'm like, what do you not understand about that? Well, why this, that, and God don't want you. I'm like, first of all, nothing that your neighbor does is going to keep you out of heaven. If you are somebody who is preaching that this is this and this is this and this is because of God, because that person needs to act a certain way because it's unpleasing to God, that is not your job. Nothing your neighbor does is going to keep you out of heaven. You are tasked with loving thy neighbor and letting God do the work, letting God judge the people, right? We all fall into judgment. I am as guilty as anybody else. But I don't do it on a presence of like religion. It's not a personal thing for me. And the way that I handle that, if you don't like that, if you don't like what your neighbor does, if you don't like purple hair and piercings in their faces and tattoos or the outfits that they wear, that is completely fine. You don't have to, right? That's when you can choose not to exchange energy with that person. That is not something that I want to exchange energy with, and I'm going to choose not to exchange energy. But it is not your job to try to change or create something that's different for somebody else. And this old world and this old world wants to hold on to that. And in the new world, that's how they're keeping us controlled, because we all know, right? Think about, I want to ask you a question, right? What year did you graduate high school? If you're here, you should have graduated high school already. And I'm going to put what year did you graduate high school? I don't even have a keyboard because I have to unplug a keyboard to, I'm going to put the year that I graduated high school up, okay? This is the year that I graduated high school, and I'm putting it up, and I'm showing it up here. I graduated high school in this year. I graduated this high school in this year. '92, '91, '89. Anybody else want to? I'll go back to mine, Heather. I mean, not that it matters. Anybody else want to put their year they graduated up here? I'm going to ask you a few questions about this, right? '94, okay, '94. 1983, I love it. Brookville High School in Lynchburg, Virginia. I love it. How many of you went to school with someone who had a punk rock hairdo, right? Like a reds or greens or purples or blues or bright hair. Like how many people went to school with somebody with bright hair? How many people in your school had hair that was not blonde, brown, brunette, right? I went to school with this many people who had a punk rock hair because you couldn't do it in my school, right? I went to school, and Melanie Lewis went to school with me, so I know zero, zero. Anybody else? Anybody else? I mean, I'd like to know. Anybody else have people they went to school with that had purple, green, blue? You had punk rock hair, really? Did you have, what color was your hair? I went to school with no one, right? No one. The first time that I saw it, I mean, honestly, I was honestly like the first time I was out and about and I saw stuff on TV, like Boy George with all the colored hair and all the things. But I'm going to be honest, like I thought that meant you were a bad person because I was taught that. Green and blue. There was no way in hell. My mom, only person, but she was ostracized. Yep. My mom was called all the time saying they were concerned I was in a cult. Yes. That's what devil worshippers. I mean, even the kids at my school who wore like the Megadeth t-shirts and stuff, I was convinced were devil worshippers because I was taught that, right? Because I was taught that silliness. I was programmed to believe that. So now, as we've gone into the new world, the old world, living in the old world as we progress, right? We see this as a normal thing. It's people's style. The programming has been broken. It doesn't mean they're bad people. They can still do their job, all the things. But think about the program. Think about how our biases are done on that. Think about the things that we're taught. And I want you to stop and think today about those things. I want you, what I'm asking you to do today is to come into this new world, this old world with a new soul, and for these new souls to try to raise the vibration of this world to bring it into the new world. Bring it into the new world where people can love one another. People have a safe and, you care about your neighbor. You don't want to hurt your neighbor. You don't want to do something to get clicks. People will go on these Facebooks and these Twitter and Instagram or whatever else, and they say the most outlandishly awful things, and it's just clickbait. Hi, Katie Shaw. And I was watching, just the rumor mill that's going to start in regards to this festival. The rumor mill that started around Oliver Anthony about he was on Joe Rogan saying, like, I don't even try to, like, as soon as you get famous, they just make things up about you. They just start creating this character that the media, that the world wants to kind of control through your image that they put out there. What I'm asking each and every one of you to do is I'm asking each and every one of you, before you comment something nasty, before you judge something that you don't know a whole lot about, before you gang up on something. Like, here's the thing, like, for example, there's a Facebook group we have here called What's Happening in Farmville, and it is the most horrendous thing that I've ever been a part of. And it's like a train wreck. You can't look away. I basically stay in there to protect my brand from crazy people. I'm just being honest. But every time that I get into that, I have to get off of the internet because it is the most lowest vibrating nonsense that has ever been created. And I'm seeing it more and more and more and more. And when I heard the line today, living in the new world with an old soul, and I'm like, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the perspective of that. But the perspective that those of us who have awakened and we realize that, there's only two things in this world that kind of drive things: love and hate. Um, uh-huh. I'm running into some of that now. My parents are Jehovah's Witnesses, and their people can't wrap their heads around the fact that I am so good to them because they judge her outside, her tattoos, pot smoking. It's not about what's on the outside, it's what's in the heart, right? People have their own personal style. People have their own personal style. But I was taught, right, to judge a book by its cover. Not only was I taught to judge people with purple hair and tattoos and the piercings in their faces, people who, were different colors than me. I was taught this certain thing, like, just silly things like don't use a black person's comb because you'll get lice. Now, number one, that is not true because the way that lice works, very few African American folks get that because you can use oils that keeps it from, like, getting in your hair scalps. That is very much a white people problem, just so y'all know, okay? And it just blows my mind the kind of ignorance that has been taught in this world. And that's the old world to me, right? So that's just my perspective. It's like we live in an old world. There are still people trying to go back to the 1950s. That was not the heyday of the world. That was just because life was easier because you were not in it. There were still people with bills and people who were being prejudiced against, and women who were depressed and being beaten by their husbands, and men who were discontent with their work and living in closeted relationships because they couldn't be their true authentic selves. There was nothing heyday about that for anyone. There wasn't. It's because you watch it on the movies and you didn't live in it. If you talk to people who are now like, you love the 50s because you were 12. You love the 50s because we all loved when we were 12 years old. We didn't have any responsibilities. We got to play ball with our friends, and that was our time. I think the 80s were the best because why? Because I was a kid in the 80s. Your childhood should be the best time. I mean, it's not holding on to that era and trying to lock things into that time. Even in the 80s, we were scared to death of the Russians because because of Red Dawn, right? Even then, there was not, you don't want things to stay the same. Things have got to change. They have to go forward. They have to progress. They have to move um, and grow and blossom into what they're supposed to be. If you do not grow, you die. And we all know that as animals, as plants, as organic matter, we have to continue to expand and to grow and to do the things. Think about how many of you work a job outside of the home. If you work a job outside of the home, raise your hand. Because even in your career, if you did the exact same thing today, tomorrow, for the next 200 years, you would be bored to absolute death at your job. You would be on the internet, talking to your friends, having a ball, sitting in the smoke sesh, like, man, this fucking job, it's the same thing day in and day out. It never changes. I can't stand it, right? How many of you, I'm so tired of the same dinner over and over and over again. I got the same 5 dinners in rotation. It's TV. It's the same shit on TV. Nothing ever changes. You get tired of your car. You get tired of all of these things, and you want something new. You don't keep. We're not still wearing pilgrim clothes because fashions have evolved and changed, right? So, yep. So Norma Jean says, I was definitely taught to be judgmental. Unfortunately, I was raised in the Jerry Falwell moral majority. The fact that I escaped that horrid lifestyle is amazing. I'm very proud. And we're very proud of you as well, right? We're very proud of you as well. And I want to say this, right? There are some really, and I had a friend of mine say to me, and she said, why are you so against Christians? Is what she said. Like, why do you feel so opposed against anything Christianity? Sorry. I said, I'm not against Christianity. I said, I'm not against Christianity. I'm against Christians who pretend to be Jesus. And I don't, and here's the thing, I'm not even going to say that. Christians who believe that they have the right to play God on earth and tell people how they got to be, how they got to act, all of that stuff. Now, if they were pretending to be Jesus, I'd probably like them a lot more because Jesus didn't play at lip service. Jesus sat with the sinners. Jesus didn't sit with the saints. Jesus got crucified because he didn't back down from the rich men north of Richmond in his day and time, right? The rich men north of Jerusalem or whatever it was, right? Um, I'm not against Christianity. That's your religion. That's a thing. I'm against people who try to take the moral high ground based on the fact that they think because they go to church they get to tell you how to live your life, and that ain't how it's gonna go. I'm against the hypocrisy of it, right? Jesus, the commandment was to love thy neighbor, and I don't see that a lot in churches. And I don't say that churches don't. I'm not saying that the people don't do it, but I am saying that the people that are speaking for the churches and what they're showing people is not what I think the messaging should be. And I feel like if Christians started acting more Christ-like, then they'd have a much better, easier job um, promoting, right? Versus you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not your job to tell me that. Your job is to, I'm not a pastor, and I come on Sunday mornings and I do a Sunday sermon. I do not care if you're sitting at home with no teeth in, no bra on, sweatpants. I don't care if you're smoking a joint. I don't care if you're humping in the bed with a friend down the street. It's your business. That is your business. My job is to do what God, the universe, lays upon my heart to do, and to put it into the universe, and that's all I have to do with it. That is my job. My job is to walk in my truth and to take care of my environment and to do no harm, right? To walk in my soul's purpose. My soul's purpose is not going to, I do not need you to walk in your soul's purpose for my soul's purpose. That is yours. When we have when God sends you down and says, here's what you need to do. Like when you have a message from your creator with we all have divinity within us, right? And how you honor your divinity is completely in your court. How I honor my divinity is in my court, and then how our energy interacts, that's the boundary that we set up, right? It is your responsibility to live your life in a way that is pleasing to you and your divinity. That it's either all of God or none of God. Your life is yours and yours alone. I talk about the disco ball, right? With the million pieces of broken glass, and we're all glued to the earth, the sphere, right? And we're like a big giant disco ball, and it's millions and trillions of pieces of little pieces of broken glass. And no matter how close they are, no matter how overlapped they are, every single one of them has just a skewed perspective that is exactly what that piece of broken mirror can see, that mirror ball, right? So, and the mirror ball, the piece of glass on this side of the world looking this way, right, looking that way, and the mirror ball on this side of the world looking that way, does not mean that those two people see things completely opposite, right? Completely opposite. But it doesn't mean that either one of them are lying or telling a non-truth about what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. We just have to allow people's perspectives to be their perspective, and it's no need to judge it or to like put your 2 cents on it. That is your feelings, that is your perspective, and I honor that. And I have my perspective and I have my feelings, and I honor that. And whether or not I choose to exchange energy with that perspective, that is something that I have to come to terms with. I'm always going to be open-minded to hear people out and to hear what they have to say, but sometimes like I just can't get down with what you're saying, and maybe I'll evolve and I'll get there. But right now, I just can't be in your energy field. We just don't see eye to eye, and because it is causing me to want to be judgy, it is, it is pulling that out of me. That is the way that the universe tells me you don't need to be around that. That is not vibrating at the same level, and that's what it is. Perspective, I think, is also vibration. We all have different vibratory feeling and emotions. It's like your own personal algorithm inside of you, right? The things that are pleasing, you give it, you give it space, and the things that are unpleasing, you push it off and you get rid of it. I love that. Perception is prospective. I like that. um Who says, I don't need church. I follow the scripture that says, go to the innermost part of your house and pray. Church is where you make it. I agree with that. I also, you know, I also believe that, I am a believer, and we've talked about this many a times, that some of you are new here. We say namaste, right? The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And, it is not our job to judge others. It is not our job to do that. It is our job to protect and to help make our vibration the best it can be. And here's what I tell people all the time. Um, I'm telling myself this all the time. If you need something to pour into yourself, because the way that you make the world a brighter place is by the way that you shine your light. I can only control the light in the world by the way that I shine mine. And every day I try to be a change agent or a bright light in somebody's life, because I believe that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And we talk about the power of one, and to me, that is my life's mission. When I talk about the food, when we talk about the catering, the medicated foods, the things that we do that are tools on top of the soul work, right? The soul work, the work on like recognizing our shadows. So many of you, are Brittany and Mel still here? Are Brittany and Mel still here? I don't know if they are or not, but I mean, even whenever we handle things, right? We go through this world and we walk in our truth, and we things that, we say we're going to do this thing, right? And things change, and the vibratory level changes, and sometimes you're just not on the same page anymore. It doesn't mean that I don't want you to eat, right? It just means that we can't eat together. And when you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, you have to walk in this world and realize, like, okay, sometimes people change their vibratory levels, and we all understand that. And sometimes you don't walk down the same path. Sometimes people, we talk about it, sometimes you shake the sand and things fall through. Sometimes I fall through. right? Sometimes I'm not vibrating where I need to vibrate, and I'm not a piece of gold today. And we talk about always do your best operating from those places. It doesn't mean that people are not as good as their word in the moment, because at that time with the information that was given, this is what we're going to do, right? But then when things change, they change, and it doesn't have any hard feelings, and no animosity, and no well, you said, well, that was with that information. It's kind of like saying with the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, right? Like, we're gonna, it's rain or shine event that we have the things in place, but then like our Burning Man or whatever, like the intentionality was to have a 5-day festival, but then Mother Nature comes in and it makes it unsafe for people to be there. So then that has to evolve and change. That's where this Blue Ridge thing came in, the idea of this, and understanding that it's not that, right? It's not that these people are assholes, they screwed us over, whatever. If it's the weather thing, if it's something they did wrong, then they should be held accountable. But it's about like saying, okay, things happen. Now, how do we as a group of people here at this event make the best of this situation? And I'm hoping, and I wasn't there, I'm hoping that people did not vandalize or destroy. And I hope that they were like, this sucks, but it's an evolving situation. We're going to pack our things up and we'll move on and do something different. Um, Kind of like whenever you learn about your favorite idol on Facebook, right? The person you love on Facebook. You follow them around, and then they do a new album and you don't really care for their music, right? Then keep moving. Like, hey, now we don't vibe. We're not vibrating at the same place. Now I don't listen to this person, but don't say like your music sucks. You suck. You changed everything. That person has a right to evolve, right? And it's okay. You have a right to whether or not you want to give money or take time and energy. But the old world and the new soul, the old world has you on here telling them that they need to do it the way you want them to do it, right? Giving that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of thing that I'm seeing all over the place, is that no one wants to understand that we have to let go of the old world and not focus on changing the world and keeping it like it was, right? Living in the new world with an old soul. How about we live in a new world with a new soul? How about we find a way versus trying to do it the way it's always been done? Things change, right? Things change for that reason. Blackboards turned into power boards. Trapper keepers turned into Chromebooks. It doesn't mean that everything with that has to go back to the way it was. It means that we have to learn how to let go of that programming, how to be kinder, how to be more uplifting, how to raise things from fear and hate and animosity up to that heart space and operating from a place of love and light and kindness. The old world is not somewhere that I want to live in, where people were slaves. I'm not just saying people of color, there were people of slaves before anybody gets into that argument with me. No slavery. Those things have to go away. Prejudices, racial biases, gender conform, all the things, right? You have to live in your world, but you have to be kind to others. The longer that we are told to be mad at this person and to be mad at that person and allow that to happen, the longer we're going to be stuck in this place that we're in. I choose happiness. Hallelujah. Amen. I choose peace. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I choose to love my neighbor as I love myself. And here's the thing. If I love my neighbor as I love myself, and I see my neighbor struggling, right? Here's what I do. I go to my neighbor. I'm like, hey, I see that you're struggling. How can I be of assistance? How can I help you with this struggle? And when they tell me how I can help them with that struggle, they say, oh, I need money, I need this, I need that. And then the thing that I say, here's what I can offer you. I can offer you the ability to have a place where you can be heard and you can be seen, where you can work through the things that will make sure that you don't have those problems moving forward. I'm gonna use Elizabeth. Can I use you as an example? Can I use Elizabeth Clark as an example? Can I have a hallelujah? Can I have a yes or a no? It's not a bad thing. I just want to use you as it's a good example. I think you'll be okay with it. I would like to use Elizabeth Clark as an example with her permission. I will not do it until I get her permission. Okay, cool. Elizabeth is someone who has been on a roller coaster ride, and she knows that. She has had some struggles. She has had some hills and some valleys. That's all we're going to say about that. And and Heather and I both have talked about, we hold a lot of space for Elizabeth when she is in her valley, right? When she is hitting those low spots sometimes, we both can feel her energy getting weird from a distance. And Heather will tell you, she'll mention like, hey, you heard from Heather, or you heard from Elizabeth. I'm like, nah, I think she's on one of her bullshits. It's okay though. She'll be back around soon, right? She'll figure it out. She'll get it straight. I love Elizabeth Clark. I do too. We all love Elizabeth Clark. We're putting that up there, right? Um, but not one of us has gone in and just like taken over and like told her how to do things. None of us has picked up her battle. None of us have paid her bills. None of us have done anything like that for Elizabeth. As a community, as loving our neighbor when they're struggling and going through the ups and the downs, we have been there as a consistent place for her to come and be a place to land and to know that she's protected by love, and given her, hopefully, and I see it working in action, the tools. Every time Elizabeth does like has a moment or whatever, we've all struggled, not just Elizabeth, right? Um, yep. Not just Elizabeth, but other people in the community. But Elizabeth, every time, grows and evolves and heals a little bit more. We're all works in progress. Y'all know I deal with, y'all see me. I'm like, y'all ain't shit right now. I'm dealing with this tree that's fallen. I thought I cleaned the tree up, and I cleaned it up on that level of my journey. But now I'm in a different vibratory place, and I'm going to deal with more of it. Because sometimes the universe will do that, give you a little, like, deal with this little bit of shadow where we're going to scratch the surface. Then you're going to get your shit together. Then in a couple months, you're going to hit this wall again, and it's going to be a little harder, but you're going to be able to handle it. And I just want to say, right, that Elizabeth Clark has never once gotten a handout from anybody, right? We may have like, hey, come by, you need a little minute. Here, come, let me smoke you out, let me get you straight, that kind of thing, right? But she has done the work. The best gift that we can give anybody in our community, right, is the gift of support and love while you figure your shit out. That's what living in the new, it's not saying that people say, oh, you're a socialist, you want to just take from everybody, should have free stuff and this and that. I'm like, no, I am not saying that. But not everybody in this world has the same tool sets and the same ability to, and the same, given the same opportunity as everybody else. And all we want to be able to do is say, hey, if you need a place to be surrounded by love and positivity and help raising that vibration for you, we can be here to do that. That's how you change the world one person at a time. When we say the power of one, we don't mean go out and just throw money at people. We don't mean go out and just take like, oh, you're healed now. We don't do that kind of stuff. People ask, what do you do with that? I'm like, we combine our energy. We take deep breaths. We say, okay, journal it out. We give you the tools and the ability to know that you are supported and a safe place to figure yourself out. Can everybody agree with that? Do y'all see that here? What are your thoughts on that? I want to know what your thoughts are on that statement. I'm going to see what Melly Lewis has to say while y'all talk amongst yourself, right? Always live and let live. If it's not for you, then it's not for you, but don't hurt others by trying to force your opinion and beliefs on others. Everyone needs to do for themselves and should always let others do for them. I don't care what you do, what you look like, what your past is, how long you think, how you do things. As long as you're good to me, I'm good to you. I don't care what you post, what you say, where you go, or what you do. I destroy my own peace and growth by doing anything different. I love that. I love that. That's the thing, right? I do care what you post. I'm going to say this with this thing. Like, here's the thing. If I see you spewing hate, then I am going to understand that I can love you from the balcony, because I can't be around hate. And I hold space and I do a little meditation. I was like, I am asking for the protection if this person comes into my space, that they do not let their negativity get into my space, and I have to not see it. So I do kind of put a little barrier up with that. But you can do you, boo boo. I'm still gonna love you. I just can't see that and be around that. And if that's who you are, then I tell people, like, and I'll tell people, like, hey, what you do is all you. It is you. I don't yuck anybody's yum. I don't boo anybody's beautiful. I don't. You do you. I have to protect my energy and my boundaries. And if I'm giving you the straw to suck my energy out, I can't be mad at the vampires taking it, right? So I have to put boundaries up with some of that stuff. I love that. Elizabeth, your growth does amaze each and every one of us. We love you as well. And just the difference, and I've seen with Elizabeth. And I want to ask this question. Sometimes it's just us all understanding that we're not alone in this, right? A lot of you see me here on the internet talking about, and it doesn't happen to me, it happens through me. Um, there's a mess in my message. My mess becomes my message. I know I'm through it. I talk about these things, but the reason that I can talk about these things is because y'all, I live it daily. I am a work in progress. Elizabeth, Heather, Melanie, so many of y'all have seen me sit in this office and cry, doubt myself. The amount of bullshit posts that I delete because of this, right? Yes, and this is what Melanie just said, right? I try to avoid it. I'm with you on that one, right? The amount of posts when I am like in my feelings, like having one of my my very human moments. Um, yeah, love someone from the balcony. What a great lesson, right? It's like, I don't want you not to eat. You just can't eat with me at my table, right? You can sit over there and eat. I want you to be full. I want you to have abundance. There are people in this town right now that I know do not like me, right? I am strongly influenced by my environment. But we all are. We 100% all are. And so when you surround yourself with like-minded, the flock, right? Our flock, our community, that's why intentional living is something that I'm really looking at ability to do that. Where I told y'all to Google that a while ago, like Google intentional living communities. If anybody looks it up, I'm telling you, do your thing. Now I have got to hit this because I have to. I'm going to take myself off of the camera. I'm just going to stop my camera. You're still going to be able to hear me. I just needed a moment because I'm feeling real overwhelmed with energy. This is going to ground me, and I don't want to get canceled off of Facebook. So smoke them if you got them. That's today's lesson. I've been trained by someone the last few days. It's my own fault. I allowed it. Now my cup is almost empty today. And I'm going to, who is this? Who is this? Is this Katie Shaw? Is this Lisa Phillips? Who is this, right? I want you, number one, I want you to take some deep breaths today. And I want you to, number one, I want you to either get some Palo Santo, some sage, Kalima. Okay, Kalima. I'm gonna encourage you to get some Palo Santo, some sacred space smudge, some sage, some type of smudge, right? Open your ears and we will fill you up. Yes, not Katie. Okay, just didn't know who it was. I saw a Facebook user. I'm going to encourage you to smudge. I'm going to actually cleanse before we do the thing today. So I need to get a torch to light this really good is what I need to do. To smudge yourself. And if you are someone who's living in that old world with a new soul and you're out and about and people are just kind of wearing you out and you feel like your energy is not protected, I am going to give you a little ceremony today, power of one, right, to be able to protect yourself. So I'm smudging. I'm going to smudge you all. A little virtual smudge for everybody can smell it. I don't know if y'all can or not. I'm going to smudge everybody. Let me get this going a little bit more. Ooh. Had a little ember fall there. We're going to do something today a little different to do our card, okay? We are going to, I'm going to smudge. There we go. Virtual smudging. I'm going to cleanse the energy. I'm asking all my angels, my guides, my helpers to come in. I want to clear the virtual space I'm going to do a little Reiki. If anybody else is a one of my Reiki, thank you. That's what I was just gonna say that. If you can please do me a favor, a lot of you are Reiki attuned and in my soul family from Carly's Reiki classes, which I'm going to be taking master as soon as it comes up. I want you to take some deep breaths in, some cleansing breaths in. I love you, Elizabeth. I want you to take some deep breaths in. As you breathe in, I want you to, if you can, put your feet on the ground, take your shoes off, let your feet hit the hardwood. I'm going to connect our powers, connect our energies. Breathe in the good, life-affirming oxygen air. Allow that light to penetrate every place in your body, picking up anything that is no longer serving you. And on the exhale, we're going to push it all out. Even if you need to do a little, get it all out, just take some great cleansing deep breaths. I want you to set an intention for today, for this week. My intention for this week is to get all of the tasks that need to be done completed without stress, understanding that all is happening in divine time and that abundance is my birthright. Money comes to me in both expected and unexpected places. And we have the perfect team to create the perfect environment, and our growth is going to be organic and beautiful. We are hiring, and I know I'm going to have a lot of people in my energy space this week, so we're going to set an intention that the exact right people walk through our door, and those that are not to our highest and best will not even bother to cross our threshold. I'm going to go through and cleanse this whole building. We got some rearranging doing. I've got to get some stuck energy out of here, and I feel like we as a community do the same thing, right? Anything's not serving us, we're getting rid of. So as you go out into the old world with your new soul, do a breathwork grounding energy protection every morning. That is my gift to you today. Get up in the morning. You haven't got to do a whole giant 50, 20,000 hour thing. I do it with my jewelry. I take my deep breaths and I was like, I am asking and I'm claiming a beautiful, blessed day. Allow my energy to combine with yours and bring peace and love and happiness to all. Rough time, abundance is on the way. Allow it to happen. Love and light to all. Love that. We're going to combine energies where everyone here can combine our energies together. We're going to pull the card that's to the highest and best of the collective today. The card that is meant for the person watching this today, as well as watching this in the future. I am cleansing and smudging. Ooh, that's a good one. My energy space. I want you to take time this week in the mornings to sit down and take those 3 cleansing breaths to set your intentionality for today. Even if today's going to be a good day. That is my intentions a lot of days, right? Today's going to be a good day. Today's going to be a good day, right? And that's what I'll say. Easy is bad. And that only those things are to my highest and best permeate my energetic space. If it's not to my highest and best, I don't see it, I don't hear it, I don't feel it, I don't know it. Only those things that serve my highest and best. And therefore, when I go through the day and maybe a roadblock pops up, I have set the intention that only the things to my highest and best are going to happen today. So then I know that every roadblock is a blessing, right? Every bump is a blessing. We used to say something at Pure Romance, and a lot of you who are on my team that are in here, of course, will be able to remember this. Say if you remember this or not. I used to say all the time, when you go out to do something, it's you either learn or you earn, and if you're lucky, you do both. And so a lot of times, I think people see that in a business standpoint, but for me, either you learn something or you earn something every day in life. And if I'm lucky, I get to do both. So I take those little road bumps and those little things that are hiccups in my day, and I see them as a blessing and as a lesson and as a way for me to learn. So if you are somebody who's struggling, this is an easy way to reframe your day. If you stop in the mornings, smudge your space, clear your energy, Create a little morning routine for yourself. Maybe as you shower, wash all the negativity off. And then as you put your lotion and things back on, you're putting your energy suit on. Take those deep breaths, claim your day every single day. And that's step one of your day. Make a to-do list and put that on there. How many of you are still doing your journals or you're checking in with yourself? How many of you are still doing your Sunday sermon journal prompts? I don't do these as much as I do a lot of times, but I journal, and I've been more in my journal. And last night, I told y'all, I was working on things. I'm not going to let you see all the things, and some of this is top secret stuff, but pages, pages, pages. You see some sketches. Y'all know what that means. There might be some new buildings in the store. Pages. This is my question prompt. I got to come back to this one. This was a big question that I'm like, I don't know how I answer that question. Pages. This was all last night, just sitting in my chair last night. Pages. And then there was some stuff in my journal or my calendar, which also becomes a journal for me because it's daily things, and I can actually, it's my personal everything. So, I'm going to encourage you all to do those things, right? I love that because I post them. I journal with our card weekly. It holds me accountable. Yes, and I love that. And I do, if one of those I feel like is for me, a lot of times I feel like when I pull these, there's somebody out there that's like, that is meant for me today. And my messages sometimes, I always know that the universe will say, this is not going to make sense to you, but somebody else needs to hear this. Today is for everybody. Today is for me as much as it is for y'all. So we're going to pull this crystal card, and I do a lot of journaling, and most of the time the way that I have been doing this is you'll see behind me is my little altar behind us. And I normally pull the weekly stone because I normally have it, some kind of version of it, Angellite, Cruel Quartz, Adventurine, the Tourmaline, Rose Quartz, purple, all the things. I pull the stone, and I usually put it in I have a little satchel, I don't know where it's at, that I usually keep with me that has the crystal stone for the week. And especially if it's meant for me, I like put it in my pocket and carry it around all week. And then sometimes people come in here and I have it in there, and I'll, so if you do, or you are local, or if you're not local and you would like the crystal of the week, this is, so little side note real quick. You know how to tell a story. With the crystal cards, why did I get these crystal cards, right? So I love you too. I love you. Your message is perfect. We thank you for spreading all the peace, love, and happiness, support. We love you, and I appreciate all of you. So I do Reiki sessions with Carly twice a month. I've not had one in a month. She's been traveling, and my schedule got screwed up because I've been sick. And so when we first started my sessions, she would pull a crystal card to start, and then like an esoteric card to start my sessions when we were first working together. And it would be like, this is the crystal you need to carry around this week. And I was at a place in my life where I was filing for bankruptcy and losing my house and my cars, and I didn't have the money. Just like, I can't legitimately go out and invest hundreds and thousands, probably at this point thousands of dollars in spiritual tools. So how do I get these crystals that I should sleep with under my pillow to help in this healing, to fortify this energy? So Carly's like, you can get like a deck of crystal cards and just hold that energy. Like, I can hold this rose quartz energy, and it's an intention. It's a mindset thing, right? So where there's a will, there's a way. And that's the evolution, right? You evolve. You start with a set of cards that this is how it started, right? And this is like, some people like their Avalon deck is their like heart deck. This is my heart deck. This deck belongs to me. This is my deck of cards, right? I love this deck of cards. And I've been pulling it for years, and y'all know that because you've been in here. And there are cards that have never come out of this deck. Cards I've never pulled. I look at all of them, but cards that have never been pulled. We've had some cards I've never seen before, but we're still pulling it. It's only like 52 of these or something like that, right? But then I was able to like start buying, a tumble. I bought an crystal advent calendar last year and got 12 tumbles, so I could find the little pieces and parts. And then I can afford to, my friends give me gifts, like Heather Johns gives me beautiful gifts, or I buy giant things like this, so it evolves. So things can progress and evolve. So just give yourself some grace and progress is better than perfection, right? So that's how this crystal deck started. So we're gonna do these, pull this crystal card today. I'm calling in my angels, my guides, and my helper, um, to be a to help me be a clear and perfect channel for this message and this card that I'm about to pull and receive. I ask that you make this to the highest and best of everyone here today and everyone who might be here watching this in the future. So we're going to give this a little thing, and the universe is going to tell me which card to pull out. And I trust the universe is always correct. And when I get the inkling that we have the right card, then I will pull the right card. And this is the card for today. And interesting. Interesting. I have gotten this card one other time. And the expansion that came after this card was enormous. The last time I got this card, I started hearing the whispers. This is crazy. Selenite, clear the clutter. And I definitely have selenite for sure. Clear the clutter is what came up. Interesting. I'm gonna have to definitely, and it's interesting. That answers. This is my card. I'm gonna pull another card. My energy's big today. Some things are happening, and can't share it yet, so it's all good. Selenite. It's a charging crystal. It is. And I have selenite towers, a beautiful selenite towers. Again, I have friends who give me beautiful things. It's time for a refresh. When you feel your battery is running low or your light is starting to dim, all it takes is a quiet moment to hit the refresh button and turn your inner light up to its brightest potential. Use this reset as an opportunity to cleanse yourself from anything that's dimming your energy. That might mean spending a few minutes outside to feel the sun on your face, or sitting in silence and meditating for a few cycles of breath. Do what's needed to re-energize your spirit, feed your soul, and recharge your inner light. Core questions. Is your spirit feeling its brightest? What energies do you need to clear away? Affirm. I feel myself back up with light. Today, visualize a column of white light radiating from your heart to the rest of your body. Now, the last time that this card came up for me, I kept hearing clear the clutter, clear the clutter, clear the clutter. Now, clutter can mean a couple of different things. Some of y'all don't know, but we have been rearranging the entire shop again. We grow, and then we get shit everywhere, and then we have to put it in place, and then it gives us room to grow. So the last time I got this card, it was at the house, and it kept saying clear the clutter, clear the clutter, clear the clutter. And we started looking for commercial space, and we ended up here, and we had to clear the clutter out of my house. And as soon as we got everything out and things in here, my sister needed somewhere to be and somewhere to live. And had I not cleared the clutter, when I cleared the clutter, it would have been a whole lot of mess. I heard this message again whenever I was struggling with some internal decisions, and I had to get clear and clear the clutter within me, which meant I had to let some things go, had to release some things, had to process some things. And now it's coming up again. And the question I asked was, how do I do this? How do I, when I can't, how do I continue to grow, right? Because this is where I'm at in life, and I'm going to share this with each and every one of you. How do I grow, right, when I don't feel like it's like going to turning 16 today and then having to turn 21 tomorrow. Sometimes I feel like life moves at me that fast. And there's some opportunities that I have coming up to do some things that I really, truly know that I was meant to do. And this is an opportunity that I can't pass up. But the question is, how do I put my arms around all of this? I'm already a little overwhelmed. How do I do this? And that question, that's what I just saw in that journal. I was like, how? Tell me my path. Show me the way that I can actually do this. And as you all know, I am a person who says I'd rather do 2 things and do them perfect than do 10 things and do 8 of them wrong and only 2 of them right. I would rather do 2 things right and maybe, not be where everybody else is than to try to do too much and to not give it what I have to give. And so the answer to that question has been clear the clutter. So I'm gonna have to do some soul searching this afternoon when I get to the house about how I need to clear a little clutter, emotionally as in business and all the things to be able to make room for what is to come. I feel like somebody else out there, some of you just need to clear the clutter inside of you and allow that love and that heart energy to fill you up, right? I think Katie Kalima said she gave them the straw and now her battery is empty. I want you to sit with yourself through some breath cycles. Do exactly what that card just told you to do. What we just did beforehand, right? Take some time to see that bright white light coming down from heaven through your crown chakra, filling up your entire body, or bringing that green heart energy out and having it fill your body up. If you need a space to do that, Carly is still doing heart space meditations on Thursday night. Go tune in with a group of like-minded folks that do that meditation. And this Palo Santo smells so good to me. If you are not someone who can get out to a Zoom meditation, just like I don't meditate, my brain gets too weird, blah blah blah, right? Sit with yourself. Like sit with yourself through some breaths. There's 1,000,001 YouTube. I like Jason Stevenson. He's really good. There's Abraham Hicks. There's 1,000,001 meditations you can find on YouTube. There's apps for that kind of stuff. And this is funny because Red says, does that mean the office is getting cleaned? It does mean the office is getting cleaned. Does it mean it's getting cleaned by me today? It does not mean that. It does mean that I am going to get that office cleaned out. My plan is to help. I need a body double. I need somebody to come help me. And I'm going to go like pull everything out of the office and go through it and then put it back and throw stuff away. She returns this Thursday for weekly benefit. Yes. What? Yeah. Jason Stevens is where I do all of my, that's who I do all my nighttime meditations for. That's funny. I was like, does that mean that? I'm trying to get my home office set back up at home so that I can do some work from there because with what I have to do, I don't have the ability to like work uninterrupted because there's always an interruption. And with my severe inability to like stay on task already, it's not lending to me getting any work done. And me being able, when I worked from home, I used to take Mondays and work on my business. And I just remember we were always closed on Mondays. That was the day I made raw materials and invoiced and all that stuff. Girl, don't play with me. Do not play with me. Come on. Let's do it. So here's the deal. Little schedule of events for this week. Selena will be back on Tuesday. It's her scheduled day to come back. With everything happening early, I don't know if she'll probably have to go get a phone Monday and all that stuff. So I'm just going to plan on her returning on Tuesday as planned. I have not heard anything different yet. She will be making the candied apples when she returns on Tuesday. So all of those candied apples will start going out on Wednesday morning, which they'll ship. So if you ordered candied apples, just take a breath. They will be out, shipped, or able to be picked up by Wednesday. That's her. I have a list for her on Tuesday. I have already put butter out. I am personally doing the s'mores stuffed cookies. They are going to be a little different this time. I dreamt them, and that's why they're back, and that's why they're on the menu. I am going to be doing chocolate bars in the morning, and then I'm going to be putting our chocolate bars on the inside of the cookie. And then there's also going to be, yes, they will ship. They will ship because they're candied. So we're going to get those shipped out starting on Wednesday. And then the s'mores cookies will go tomorrow. They'll be done tomorrow. Carrot cakes, they'll be done tomorrow. I am very excited to get back in the kitchen and do those 2 things myself. That helps me to reset and to get my life together. And so I made arrangements this week where I have cooking days in the kitchen. I have a couple of days where I'm going to be in the kitchen doing some stuff, and therefore, therefore, I'm going to fill my cup up a little bit with that. And tomorrow I'm going to be making some cookies. Now, if you are also local, we do have the ability to order mom meals for tomorrow night or take home meals. They are going to be delicious. Some chicken parmesan, some house salad, some garlic bread, some cheesecake for dessert. And the cheesecake for dessert, y'all, is a new specialty. We did this one as a no bake, but Grace and I decided, Grace made this cheesecake, and let me tell y'all what, it is a fall cheesecake that will knock your socks off. It is apple, dates, molasses, walnut. It is fall in a bite. It is fall in a bite. If you're also local, our fall, cake stuff for the Grateful Fed came out. But the things that are dropping for Hometown Hippie from now until Christmas, Amazing Grace, you're right about that, right? Amazing Grace, that shit is delightful. Sold, yes. Elizabeth Clark, anybody else who's got free time this week, I'd like for y'all to come in Tuesday. And I'll give you free dinner on Wednesday night for coming in and some other little free things. That's funny. That's hilarious. Okay. We need some trimmers. We have some trim in to do. So we have ability on Tuesday if Norma Jean and Elizabeth and anybody else wants to come back, have a sit down. It's going to be a beautiful week. We can sit out back if you want to at the table. We'll close the gate up. The food truck this week, we had planned on opening Tuesday and Wednesday this week because we've got Heart of Virginia Festival, all the things. So we're going to have to change the schedule up a little bit. We are getting our graphics put on the truck this week, and therefore he has to go to Kentucky at the end of the week. So he's going to do it at the beginning of the week, which we were planning on be opening. So we're probably not going to have the food truck open this week. Maybe Thursday here at the shop, one day at the shop this week. And who is this? I do not have the cheesecake. The fall cheesecake is right now. It is just for the Monday night take-home meals. It is, but we can make you one of those. We just can't have that ready for you tomorrow. The one for tomorrow is for the take-home meals. That's Denny. Okay. Oh, cool. Got you. I was saying yeah. So I got you. On my way out of town so I can bring some to Hubs. That's why I didn't know who that was. Okay, I got you. Okay, so we got that straight. We can do that locally kind of stuff. I don't have a whole cheesecake to sell. I just have we're going to do the pieces or whatever. It's going to be nice. So anyway, all that stuff, Stacy. Okay, yeah. Girl, I got you on Tuesday. We got you on Tuesday. That apple date caramel molasses brown, it's everything I could do not to go in there and be like, y'all are not getting that. I'm taking it home for Sunday night dinner dessert because I'm doing spaghetti tonight. I'm like, I want that with the spaghetti on the thing. It's going to be delightful. But I'm like, nah, I'll be good. Okay. So that being said, I love each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Go out this week, recharge your cups. Go try to change the old world to the new world that's from love and light. Know that nothing is meant to stay the same. And the quicker we can get our heads around that, and the more that we evolve, and the more that we hold on to the fact that you can't change, and it's not your job to change or judge other people. It is your job to be the change that you want to see. You lead and live your life and lead the world by example of your light. When I say you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, Think about if the more people that we encourage to be full of love and light, the more people that we go out and have that one day conversation with, that one time when they're having a shit day, when Elizabeth Clark comes in here and she's crying to me and I'm crying to her. That's how we change the world, by being there for one other human being. And I didn't get to change the entire world for her that day. I cannot wave my magic wand and go Leviosa and raise everything back to where it was, to take care of this and to take care of that. And when I was crying to Elizabeth, she couldn't do that for me. But what we could do was be there for one another and realize that we're not alone in this. And we had our moment to take the exit and to cry and have our pity party. But now it's time to get back on the fucking high vibration highway and get our life together and make those life affirming choices that puts us in the right path to not have to get off that exit as much or as often, and to be fueled up for longer and for longer distances. We all sometimes falter, but I always say this: it's not about the setback, it's the comeback, right? It's not the setback, it's the comeback. And damn it if we don't got a good comeback. Now, if you're watching this and you're one of my brand ambassadors, do you have 5 minutes to stay on a Zoom after this? If you're a brand ambassador, I'm going to send you a Zoom link right after this. I need to talk to y'all for like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. And then we can have some plans for social media going into the holidays. September, we're running fall flavored fun stuff. October 1st, everything spooky is dropping October 1st for the whole month of October. We are also going to do October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to do something, boo bags for boobies or something like that. And we're going to do, I got the really cool pink boo bags. All of the boo bag sales is what I'm going to have, because I can't do all of them because I have to have my money too. But all of the boo bag sales, so all of the boo bag stuff will go towards local breast cancer awareness. We're going to find the right thing. I'm a member of Zeta Tau Alpha, which is a sorority, and we have our philanthropic giving is to Susan G. Komen. There's been some questions about them. I'm going to look at that, but I might look at helping the local chapter. They'll be able to donate, and we can help them with their fundraising kind of thing. So I would like to be able to donate the boo bag proceeds, like 10% of the boo bags or whatever, to our local breast cancer awareness kind of thing. I have that hits close to home for me. I've got my aunt had double breast cancer. She's had lots of surgeries. She struggles. A lot of us have people in our life who struggle with that. So we want to be able to be a good steward to our community. So we're going to be doing boo bags, raising money for breast cancer awareness for boo bags for boobies all month of October. All fun things in the boo bags. You're going to see spiderweb pretzel cool things and whatever else Selena pulls out of her magic sleeve, her magic hat for Halloween. That will all drop October. Tickets for our Harvest Festival, the last weekend of the month for October, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. If you are a home baker, I will let you know right now, we are going to have the first annual Harvest Fest this October 28th. We have music, we have contests. If you're a grower, we're going to have a best bud contest. Bring in your bud, we'll test the potency of it. People will judge it on looks, and then we will have judges. You'll need to give us 3 pre-rolls prior when you get your entry in. We're going to get 3 judges. We're going to give them a little judges pack, which will be we need you to have your baked good in early as well. We're going to give you all the details on that. We're going to have a bake-off contest. We're going to have cakes, cookies, and candies. So you'll be able to do cakes, which are going to be brownies and little cakes or whatever. You're going to be able to do cookies, and you're going to be able to do candies, which are either gummies, lollipops, things like that. We need you to enter like small bites for each of those things so that we can give those to the judges beforehand. They're going to have like a day with your product, a day with the next person's, and they're going to do all their judging based just on numbers. I have a whole plan for it. We are looking for event staff for that. If you would like to work with us on that, we appreciate you to come in and be event staff. It's a volunteer position, but it helps keep the party started. You get some extra free like event staff t-shirts and stuff. And then I'm working on the logo for Harvest Fest as well. I got someone coming this week. The word on the other thing, y'all, I'm going to be honest, I'm starting to feel like I got bent over and told some stories too, only because the story has changed a lot about where the carts are. And so I am in process of scouring the world for a different source of those. And right now I still have them in hand, so they're not back on the website. I have other stuff, just not those. And right, I'm getting my life together on that. So if that doesn't happen Monday, then I don't know if I don't know. I'm at a loss right now. I don't want to talk about that. It's going to be fine. I am in the process, like I said, of just trying to find it, but it's been a struggle. So I was told they were en route and they'd have them out. All they just go pick them up. And then they called last night and said that they didn't get delivered and that they had to go pick them up from the post office, and now they don't want to do that. And I was like, I will go do that. Give me the card. Show me the card. And then I can't, I don't know. I just take some deep breaths and clear the clutter. All right, y'all. So, looking for trimmers this week. I'll feed you dinner on Wednesday night, as well as take care of your head while you're here and send you home a little treat. We are sold out of some stuff. The things are going to be going off the menus as they're sold out. Go ahead and get your candied apples, get your carrot cakes, get your s'more stuffed cookies. These are a limited run. When they're gone, they're gone. Those s'mores cookies are going to be thebomb.com. They're going to be way more ooier, way more gooier. I'm very excited for these cookies, so stay tuned for more details on that. It's going to have marshmallows on top and stuff too. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be a really nice ooey gooey cookie, and I'm excited to make those. And I may even make some of those for the Heart of Virginia Festival that are just rugelach. I think that's going to be our dessert. We're going to make a bunch of s'mores stuffed cookies. They're going to look good, taste good. I'm also going to do pieces of cake. So if you're going to be out next weekend, we encourage you to please come see us at the Heart of Virginia Festival. We will be there with the Sugar Magnolia. We know that the Sugar Magnolia will be open on Saturday. We cannot guarantee she'll be open this week here at the shop because we got to get graphics. But on that note, I'm going to do exactly what somebody reminded me to do a few minutes ago. You're very welcome. I'm going to do what Heather encouraged me to do over 5 minutes ago. I'm going to end this live like we always do with a little peace, a little love, and a little feast, y'all. And as always, I appreciate you. Stay elevated. And until next week, deuces. I'll see y'all later.